The words Ferrari and under the radar aren't, in my opinion anyway, words that go hand in hand together. However, that seems to be exactly the case with the car to my right. Yes, it's Rosso Corsa red and has a prancing horse on the front and 8 cylinders under the bonnet, but it doesn't seem to get a second look. In fact, it almost gets a disgruntled laugh when you mention it, and I think that's a crying shame. So let's talk about it. Hello and welcome to the Ferrari California. Yes, today I have the rather unpleasant job of reviewing this. It's a 2009 Ferrari California, and we're going to have a proper look around this thing, under the bonnet, inside and out, and then, whilst the sun's still out anyway, I'm going to take it out on the road and talk to you a little bit about why I think this is a criminally underrated model and what I think overall. So let's crack on. You see, to many, the idea of a gentle grand touring Ferrari has never been a good thing. Ferrari should make raw, engaging sports cars and nothing else. The F430s, the 360s, going back further, your Testarossas and things like that. So, when grand touring Ferraris have been introduced in the past, they haven't always gone well. Your 400i's, your 456M's, they aren't exactly all that popular with collectors. The brief of the California was rather simple. Open up Ferrari to a wealth of new buyers, a broader spectrum, if you will. However, to do that, Ferrari realised they needed to change a couple of things, because whilst everyone might want a Ferrari, not everyone wanted the sort of Ferraris that they were selling. Your F430 Scuderias, your 360 Challenge Stradales are very good cars, but they're rather raw, quite loud, a bit raucous and obnoxious. And whilst I'm not saying this is a subtle car, it's a little bit more refined, and that's exactly what they needed. The California was introduced in 2008 and was the most radical Ferrari at the time. It had a lot of new things that no other Ferrari had done before. Most importantly, a front-mounted V8 engine. On top of that, it sat a little bit higher than a traditional Ferrari, and for the first time ever, you had a full metal folding roof. Very radical indeed. So was it a success for Ferrari? Well, that depends who you ask, because it did get sales numbers right through the door. This is a first generation California, which production spanned from 2008 until 2012. Then a facelift California 30 was introduced with an updated engine. Overall, the California was produced from 2008 until 2017. And in this, the first generation, around 8,000 of them were sold. That's a very good number of cars to sell if you're doing an exotic Grand Tourer. And so in that respect, I do think it was a success. But as I said, the purists weren't particularly fond of this car. It was far too soft for them. Ferrari shouldn't be making an automatic, soft, high-riding, metal-folding, front V8 mounted monstrosity. They should stick to what they know best. Now, if you're in the market for an awfully comfortable Ferrari that's very pleasant inside, I think you'd be hard-pressed to do better than one of these early Californias. It's such a pleasant place to be. It's very well balanced. There's a high level of fit and finish, and it's all very nicely laid out. I've got sports style seating in the front, but it's not so excessively sporty that it's harsh and uncomfortable. There is seats in the backs which are spacious if you don't have legs, shall we say. They're a little bit bigger than, say, a Porsche 911, but they're still not great amounts of room back there. Overall, though, I just really love this cabin. It's a nice blend of a little bit of modernism without being too screen focused, too tech heavy. Yes, you've got a central screen. This one's been swapped out for an aftermarket Pioneer unit, but there would be a screen there anyway. The steering wheel has a couple of buttons and selectable modes, but it's not full of really over the top flashy lights that are just distracting. It's very well balanced in here. I really like it. Under the bonnet is a rather splendid thing. In the early first generation Californias, you've got this, a 4.3 litre Ferrari Maserati V8, an F136LB to be oddly specific with code names. The important bits, power, well, it's good for around 454 brake horsepower. The later cars were closer to 493. 0 to 60 around 4 seconds, and a top speed of 193 miles per hour. Yes, there were faster Ferraris at the time, but this could accelerate just as quick as an F430 thanks to its dual clutch 7-speed transmission. Another first for the California. So then, I've put the roof up in the interest of wind noise. It's warmed up. Let's see what the California's like to drive. I suppose we better put the window down in the interest of engine noise. your heart out. This is a wonderful car. Immediately off the bat, I'm smiling ear to ear. That 4.3 litre V8 engine sounds absolutely wonderful. And in manual mode, it's tremendous fun. With 0 to 62 in around 4 seconds, it's not a slouch, and you really do feel that. It looks like quite a big car in person, a big heavy thing with 4 seats and a big metal roof, but it's no slouch. The power delivery is there, and especially for a naturally aspirated car, you'd think this would need forced induction to be making the sort of power that it is, but that really isn't the case. It's a nippy little car. It gets up and goes excellently quickly. And then if I want to be a little bit more relaxed about things, I've got one tiny little button down here that says auto. I pop it in there and suddenly all the work is done for me. If not, a 7-speed manual dual clutch transmission is at my disposal. Just operate the paddles. It's all very easy. It's nice and basic. It's a lovely car to drive this. It's very manageable. It's not too obnoxious. It's not a lot to handle. It's just overall a pleasant experience behind the wheel. I can see where the grand touring aspect of this car comes in. You could really swallow up the miles with this, knock it in auto mode. I've got the aircon going, radio on. I could be in anything, a far more normal car. It's just, I can't say anything else, pleasant. And of course, there are different selectable driving modes as well. I've got it in comfort at the moment. I'm just poodling along, as I think you probably have it at this most of the time, but I can flick a switch on the dash and I'm back into sport mode. Everything sharpens up, gets a little bit tighter, a little bit more aggressive for when you're pushing it to the max. When Ferrari said this Ferrari will do everything, I think a lot of people were doubtful, but spend some time with it and I think you'll think, actually, it does a rather good job of that. The road holding is rather impressive as well. As I say, it looks like it's going to be a bit heavy and cumbersome, and yes, it's not a 360 Challenge Stradale, it's not a track focused car for the road, but it's quite sharp and precise. There's not a lot in the way of roll and it turns in very nicely indeed. It's a comfortable car, it's a good looking car, it sounds well, it drives well. There's very little not to like here. I'm very fond of this 4.3 litre engine. I'm very fond of this 7-speed box. Even in auto mode, it's quite nice and responsive. It's aged incredibly well, this car. I'm having an awfully good time, I must say. So then, the Ferrari California, what do I think? Well, I'm rather fond of this thing. I think it's an awfully good car, and as I said at the beginning of this video, a criminally underrated one. If you're a purist, yes, this is a sacrilegious automobile. A V8 engine at the front and a big old heavy metal folding roof at the rear. What could be worse? Well, a lot of things. If you live in the real world, this is a very good car indeed. It's very enjoyable. I think it looks lovely. It's got classic Pininfarina styling, a lovely sounding V8, as I said, in the front. It's well laid out inside. There are room for 4 people. I admit the rear seats are a little bit on the smaller side, but overall, it's an awfully practical Ferrari that I don't think compromises too much on the exoticness and the fanfare. It sounds the part, it looks the part, especially in this red. It still gets all the attention if you're into that sort of thing. And most importantly, it drives incredibly well. So many people say, oh, well, it's higher and it's this and it's that. It's going to be softer, but get it out on the road, drive one for yourself, and you realise it's not. In the real world, it's a very fun thing to drive. If you want a more relaxed drive, whack it in automatic mode and just leave it at that. But if you want to be a little bit more engaged on a nice sunny day on a nice country road, put it in sport, put it in manual, and you'll find it's a very dynamic thing. It stops well with carbon ceramic brakes. It's got a lovely 7-speed dual clutch transmission. What more could you possibly want? Overall, the Ferrari California is a wonderful thing. It gets a thumbs up from me, and I can't recommend them enough. Thank you very much for watching the video review on this undeniably epic little modern classic Ferrari. I do hope you've enjoyed. If you like this sort of thing, please check out our other video reviews. And if you have a classic or modern classic car to sell, please get in touch with us.